night before Halloween of 2006, I was walking down the sidewalk to my friend's house. As I was making my way down the sidewalk, I saw something moving across the street, a little ways in front of me. I wasn't too familiar with the Halloween movies at the time, but I did recognize a Michael Myers mask as I watched the figure walk into the front yard of a house that was just on the other side of the street. It then stopped, looked in my direction, and then turned and kept walking across the front yard. I was more weirded out than afraid. I figured this guy must have been someone who lived there and was playing a practical joke on someone. I continued to my friend's house and eventually forgot all about it. The next morning, I was waiting for the school bus to come pick up me and my sister. It was still pretty early in the morning. Fog was rising up from the grass and the frost was slowly melting off the windshields of some of the nearby parked cars. I was just wandering up and down the sidewalk when I saw the Michael Myers guy again. This time, he was directly across the road, standing between two garages and looking my way. I pointed him out to my sister, but he was standing so still that we assumed that he was some kind of Halloween decoration. I was tempted to call out to him, but I decided against it. And even in my 12-year-old mind, I felt genuine alarm that an adult could walk around with a mask on this early and stare at someone else's children. It wasn't until I was on the bus that the figure finally moved. I tried to point him out to my sister, but the bus was already moving and he was out of sight. That night was Halloween, and my sister and I went out dressed as Ash and Misty, and my father accompanied us, occasionally saying, "He got you," in a really loud and squeaky voice when other people were close by to embarrass us. It wasn't until we were on our way home that I saw Michael Myers again. He was walking down the side of the road behind us. Other people were walking by him without even reacting. I tried to point him out to my father, but he barely looked twice at the figure. When we got home, I watched from my bedroom as the figure stood outside our front lawn. He waited there for a few minutes before disappearing around the side of our house. Now I was starting to get nervous. I asked my dad if one of his friends was messing with us, and I begged him to take a look outside. But he came back a minute later with a completely carefree attitude, saying there was no one there. Later that night, my sister crept into my room and whispered that there was someone outside of her bedroom window. Instead of calling out to my parents, who were both asleep, I grabbed my flashlight and I followed her back to her room. I told her not to turn on any lights, and when we got to the window, I turned on the flashlight and shone the beam directly into the face of Michael Myers. He was standing directly outside, peering through the window. His hands were cuffed against his eyes to help him see inside. When the light hit him, you would think he would have bolted, but instead he remained motionless. He opened his hands and slapped the window hard enough to knock a framed picture off the wall. I screamed like I was being eaten by a shark. The figure then put his right index finger up to the lips of his mask, as if telling me to shush. He then vanished into the darkness. My father then burst into the room, and we both started crying as we told him what we saw. The cops were called, but they took their time getting there, obviously not very concerned that it was another Halloween prank. And had we not seen the stranger before that night, I may have believed that too. The neighborhood was searched, but no one wearing a Michael Myers mask was found. That's all, friends. Write in the comments if you like this story, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not with us yet. Bye.